the time frame that they were all linked in on eating well, training, once or twice a day, or just getting some steps in and doing that, sales, he said, that, like, I watched his hand go like this, and he said they skyrocketed. Program gets done, right? Because it was a durational time thing.
Yeah.
Program gets done. Some of the people on the sales team said, it was fun. I saw the results. I look good. I feel this way. But you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and take my foot off the gas, maybe apply the brakes a little bit. And guess what happened? Sales
went back down.
Went back down.
Hey guys, welcome back to the show. I got my good friend, longtime friend, Josh, back in the studio, conference room, whatever you want to call this place.
What's up?
Yeah. Remember, you got to pull the thing to you.
Into
back
me.
And forth. Yeah.
I got you.
Otherwise, I'm going to put headphones on you.
No. Confined like an animal.
I know. I remember last time we did that, you had headphones. You were like,
one on, one off.
Yeah. Dude, we just wrapped up our first after over 6 years now, right?
Just about.
It's about 6 years now. We did our first Agogi in-person event.
It's fucking awesome.
It was awesome, dude.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Finally good to get everyone together.
Yeah.
In a room.
When I talked about it and gave you that kind of like, hey, this is what I want to do, right? Because we had to move some things around.
Yeah.
It was kind of like, not kind of last minute. It was very last minute. But you were coming to town for the Agogi photo shoot.
Yep.
We couldn't do unfortunately, we couldn't do Squire at that time. So I was like, dude, we got to do something. I was like, well, if you're in town, all these people are coming in town, let's just do a Agogi live event. What was or even if you had one, did you have an intention or like an intentionally outcome of what you wanted from it?
Yeah. Really intentionality behind it was more of a hopeful or desirable aspect that those who came received what was like in our construct, like what we constructed, like what was in our brains, what was in our hearts, the overall message that we were kind of looking for all the different entities and people that we were putting out there to go ahead and speak and provide whatever it is that they were going to provide. And it seeded, just as well with the people that it did is inside of our brain. Like when you conceptualize something, right? No matter what it is, it can sound and feel very good inside your brain, or even talking with another person. But to ensure that it's distilled and or disseminated onto the people that are actually coming, in the manner in which we're thinking, that's what I was looking for.
Because it's interesting because I can plan and write notes and deliver speeches and classes and this and that, but you just never really it's interesting. You never really know. Like sometimes you could know. You could be like, oh man, that was amazing, but sometimes it's just, you're like, oh man, was that shit? Was that good? I don't know, until you get the feedback from the people. And then the feedback, the people are like, oh, this was one of the best weekends I've had in a long time, etc. But do you feel like from what your intention was for that guy, and I'm getting somewhere on this, for that gathering, do you feel like it was met?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think there was a piece, if not multiple pieces of certain entities of our 4 pillars that we covered down on, like not just on a one-time front, like give it, the chapter's closed and it moves on. Like it had a compounding effect on each of the pillars, and then multiple times the pillars were interjected, and not even by design, to be quite honest. Like some of the people that were speaking, it's not like you fronted them with, hey, you have to speak about this, and it must be this, then therefore it all makes sense. Like we had enough trust, faith, and confidence in the people that were brought in, and to say, okay, you just deliver your message based on
your message,
who you are,
and
from there, just run with it. Like, I know you had asked some guys, and they're like, well, what do you want me to do? Do what you do.
Pulled a Kirk.
Right? Like do what you do.
Yeah.
Give what you offer, because that's what we love and respect, and that's what we're looking to be, blessed upon.
Bring value in the way that you bring value.
Yeah.
Yeah. how important is it to get people? Obviously, the Agogi itself is a online community. Mm-hmm. It's an online coaching program, So, guys want to lose weight, they join the Agogi, we get in there. Obviously, we have a mindset section of that because, the reason why they're out of weight in the first place is a mindset priority issue. But nonetheless, it's an online thing. There's a ton of online communities, which I think is great. I think that they need to grow. I think there should be one for every subsect of men that there is. You know what I mean? I was on the Dad Edge podcast on yesterday with Larry Agner, and we kind of talked about this as well. We talked about Agogi Live and what we just did, and then we got in this conversation. So, from your point of view, which obviously I have an idea of the answer, but for the listeners, what is online's great?
Yes,
it's great. But what is the importance of getting people physically together in the same room, and how is it different? And from your point of view,
I think it brings full circle the aspect of community, right? It takes it from the theoretical side, or from the computer side, where I'm looking at a Zoom call from here or there, or I'm texting or calling different people within the Agogi, and I do it with you, right? Like there's a communication that we continue to have in Go, but every time we come in person, it magnifies. Yeah, right? It magnifies and intensifies, and it brings all that stuff kind of to the forefront. And if you really look at the Webster's Dictionary of Community, which I don't know what it is, right? But I'm sure it has to do something with an actual formal, right, get together, bonding, breaking of bread, working out with people, talking to people, conversing, and having human face-to-face interactions. And that's what we did, right? We blew the divide and took it from not just being like a communal event being online to an actual physical thing. Yeah. Right. Something that they could see, that they could touch, they could feel, they could smell, they could talk to. Yeah. And it intensifies every other aspect in which we continuously talk about and speak about. It brought it to life.
I have a expectation that Agogi Live will actually strengthen the online community portion.
I think 100% that it will, or it should. And for those who did come, definitely the ones that I talked to all of them, right? But independently and collectively, they're all going back charged. It recharges like the batteries.
Yeah, and that's kind of, it's funny. I didn't even really have the full intention. My intention was to get people together, break bread, which thanks to Colorado craft beef,
phenomenal,
dude.
Not just saying that, legitimately, the beef was.
And this is coming from a guy who gets grass-fed, grass-finished beef. Yeah. In Hawaii, give a freezer full of it.
Very particular ranchers, right? From a particular butcher.
They're good, aren't they?
Well, absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, phenomenal. Great people too.
Tons of meat. Did it all get eaten?
Eventually. Yeah.
Some people grazed toward the end.
Grazing and slothing a little bit, but it was all, it was good.
But yeah, being able to, my intention was to break bread, work out, get a training session in with everybody, do some jiu-jitsu for the people that want to do jiu-jitsu. There's you know what? There was most of those people out there, it was first time, right?
For jiu-jitsu? Yeah. A lot of them, yeah.
Yeah. So they just threw themselves into it. Kyle gave a phenomenal class, and then we got some rolls in, and then we did some ice baths, and then we got back to it. So that was my intention was refill the batteries, have fun. That was what Agogi Live in my head was.
Big picture.
Yeah, big picture.
Yeah,
which is when you start talking about personalities and different things like that, I'm the big picture guy. I don't get it. I'm not into the details. That's for the team to do. But that was really my intent, was to get people face to face in the room together to have conversations. And so we had conversations. We did all these different things. And what was interesting is kind of like what you led to was we kind of talked about our 4 pillars and hit our 4 pillars at every single level.
Yes.
Without really the intention to.
Without crafting it.
Yeah, without
right?
crafting it.
It was definitely no craft on that behalf.
It's a very organic way that it went. And the tagline was, you know, for the event was built by discipline, driven by purpose. And I don't know, tell me from, you know, from where you sit, how do you, what's the word I'm looking for? Extract that. What do you extract from built by discipline and driven by purpose?
I mean, you know, for me, discipline is, it's number one. Right, whether things are going great.
At this point for you now, I think it's not even a thought. It's just
a way of life. Yeah. It's a way of conducting self. And sometimes you would think that it would be such an easy thing for me to be able to explain. Mm-hmm. But like a lot of other things that we do, because it becomes the nature of who we are, we end up almost losing a contextual aspect or like of what discipline is, because it's a way of life. It is just what you do. But I try and peel back a couple layers. I mean, anything you do in life should be formed with a disciplined approach. If my true objective, my yearning, my want, if I say that I really want something or I want to do something, the only way that you're going to be able to get there is, one, by actioning a plan. So you got to be able to plan it. But cool, people plan things all the time, right? Like, I want to go to, I don't know, the Bahamas. I want to go to Thailand. I want to go to here. I want to go there. But is it just a thought? And is it just a want, or is it an actual desire? So once it becomes an actual desire, right, then I have something that I know shit that I really, really want. How am I going to get it? I need to be extremely disciplined on my approach in order to be able to get it. And if I really want it, I'm just going to be disciplined. There is no other way for it to happen. Yeah. And that's when things are going great in your life. And that's when things are going really shitty in your life. Because like those things are going to happen at all times in life. It's going to ebb and flow, and they're going to come and go. Yeah. But either way, if we remain disciplined on the things that we do and the things that we need and should be doing, we'll continuously get further towards our objective, even if life is not going the best or the way that we want it at this current place in time. But for sure, if we disregard all of our discipline, right, and just throw our shit to the wind and forget about it and just, you know, fly by the seat of our pants, we're definitely not going to get any closer to what we want, what we desire, what we want to achieve. Yeah. And then the driven by purpose, like that's, to me, that's like the why, right? I'm driven by my why. I'm driven by my purpose. So it's cool. I have an objective. Why am I doing the things I have a thing that I want to be done, right? I need to be disciplined in order to get it. But what is that thing that I want to get? It has to be extremely, extremely like purpose driven. It has to be my why. It's
the fuel that keeps you going.
It is. Yeah.
That is the thing for me is like, you look at these guys, you know, Jerry, 305 pounds, gonna die of, you know, of stroke or heart attack or something like that, some sort of coronary issue before his dad died, which his dad died at 49.
49, I do believe, because he's just shy of that.
Yeah. So he's about to break through that, and he was heading down that same road. So I'm thinking Charlie. Charlie was 400 pounds,
I think, 390.
Right.
Not sure. Yeah.
You know, now she just completed a photo shoot.
Yeah, and I mean? Crushed it.
Looked great. So like, you don't get that. Those type of results, right, does not happen without discipline.
No.
Like, you don't build a life like that unless you are disciplined. Like, people have, you know, like Tim did the photo shoot.
Yep.
You know, he was upwards of, I think he was around 300 when he started as well, and he came in at I forgot what, the day before he was at 219.
I took a picture of it. I think it was right at 219. I think it was just sub 220. Yeah, I'd have to look, but irregardless, I know I waited.
His in body when he went in there. Yeah. Yep. So like, this is I want to say 56-year-old man, right? 56-year-old man, almost 300 pounds. Like, the guy looks like a different person. He added 2 decades to his life. Yeah. He's got a little kid.
I saw him and I didn't have words. I just looked and kind of gave him like that smile and grin of, damn.
Yeah.
Like, I'm I'm proud of you. You don't have to look at accolades from me, but I'm proud of you for doing what you set your mind to and what you said you were going to do.
Yeah, I can't wait to share those things. But my point being is these individuals, I just wish I could fucking inject the feeling of what they feel or what you and I feel into someone who is 300 pounds, who is hurting, who is undisciplined, who is not the version of themselves that they know that they can be or they know that they should be. I just want to inject the feeling of what it is when you get there, when you go through that trial by fire, because it's a trial by fire. It's a hard gravitational pull to the opposite direction. But the results is not just the physical side of things.
No.
Like these guys, and keep in mind, we're talking about, built by discipline. That is the result that you see first, right? But the second and third order effects of doing that with your life, like now you are you're more in tune with what's going on in your world, your relationships, you have more energy, you have more clarity and vision around your businesses or your professional life. It changes everything. It changes the way you see the world.
I mean, I think you begin to realize that when you put a methodical approach down on paper and you follow it, I mean, I know that it's hard for some of those people, for a lot of people, to lose weight and to see the results that they ultimately think they're going to get in a short amount of time.
Yeah.
However, it is, to be quite honest, fairly easy to make incremental changes towards that objective. And if you count those, that's why we have people check in every week. If you count those and look at those every week, you're gaining little victories.
Yeah.
And each little victory should be a little bit more fuel to say, holy shit, this is actually possible. I can do this. I believe in myself. I am capable. Mm-hmm. And then you go from there. Like James. Did you talk to James at all? From the photo shoot?
No.
He was...
Oh, yeah.
He was 350.
He was 350.
And I want to say I weighed him at a buck 86. And he looks phenomenal. Like it's not like a scary looking buck 86 or whatever like some people might think is wow, going from 350 to 186, you must look this way. He looked phenomenal. And talking with him, what he did, him and his wife and his team, they got some real estate endeavors going on. Mm-hmm. I believe it was 7 or 8 other people on the real estate team started to kind of line up with him. They started seeing his change. So what he did, and this is either forward thinking or super intelligent, either way that it went down.
Well, you don't get to where he's at professionally in life without having a little bit of forward thinking.
Yeah. So his forward thinking said, okay, I have this team. Yeah. And now these team they're on their own mission of their own version of what success looks like, but they want to begin to kind of follow a path that I'm walking down. Yeah. Losing weight, getting healthier, having a longer lease on life and a healthier lease on life. Anyway, so he started tracking the analytics from sales. So the 7 months... or the time frame, let's just put it that way, the time frame that they were all linked in on eating well, training, once or twice a day, or just getting some steps in and doing that, sales, he said, that, I watched his hand go like this, and he said they skyrocketed. Program gets done, right? Because it was a durational time thing.
Yeah.
Program gets done. Some of the people on the sales team said, it was fun. I saw the results. I look good. I feel this way, but you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and take my foot off the gas, maybe apply the brakes a little bit. And guess what happened? Sales went back down.
Damn.
So he's watching this as the team lead, and he's watching his own sales, and I believe his wife as well, and they continue to climb. Now, I don't know what kind of rate this is, but either way, it's climbing, right? Yeah. It's going beneficial for him and his company.
Yeah.
So he's like, there's no way. Like, yes, this feels good and this looks good, but now on paper, this is providing me more money. My business is growing. I'm not stopping. Like I'm going to change maybe what my long game is, but I'm not stopping this form of this journey. And then him and his wife ended up breaking off recently and creating their own team. And I don't want to say they left in the dust, but he just began to see what happens on paper and in business when you also follow this in life for personal stuff.
That's funny. I brought up, I voted Hopefully you guys voted. When you guys are listening to this, hopefully we're in a Make America Great stage. Otherwise, just feel sorry for me. I'm crying in the corner. I brought that up on the stage talking about Johnny Slicks, how when we started Johnny Slicks, I was kind of coming through my funk a little bit, you know what I mean? And I'd kind of focused on business, and I was probably drinking a little bit too much. All this story is out there. But there was a correlation between the growth of the company and when John, I forgot, John was like 220.
When he said that,
yeah,
I wanted to scream out liar. Like,
No,
that
he
left
was,
my
dude.
brain already. Like,
Yeah.
And then I had to sit there and think, and I said, oh, that's right. Like, I know he's not lying, but holy cow, I forgot about that.
Yeah. Yeah, he was like 220. And what do you say he's sitting at now? Like 165, 170, something like that?
Healthy.
Yeah, healthy. Like the guy's a freaking ninja. He does like acrobatic shit, 30 years old. Anyways, but it was interesting to see the correlation of him and I start going back and getting in phenomenal shape again, probably to some level in better shape than we were when we were active in the military, at certain things, right? Can't fix the youth thing. Like I can't roll that.
If anybody's
clock.
got a line on that, let me know.
Yeah, we're trying with stem cells and HGH and all the other things, but nonetheless, you can't roll the odometer clock back that much. But in the grand scheme of things, us over the years becoming more and more health conscious, more and more health, becoming more physically fit, getting leaner, getting stronger, being able to be, capable in these different things. But then at the same time, the correlation of the growth of the company. And I think I know that the more fat you get off your body, the more clarity you have in your life, and the better you're able to focus, and the better you're able to create vision about where you want to go. Kind of like what you were saying at the beginning.
Yeah.
For these clients that have come in the Agogi and done this foundation of discipline, this built by discipline concept, is the foundation that everything else is built upon.
100%.
And it's weird because we try to tell people, how do I say this? Like, that fitness is a gateway drug to success, but it's so much bigger than that. Like I feel like that's almost like a cheesy sales line.
It is, but when it's the truth, sometimes
Yeah.
it's hard to avoid those statements that are like that.
Right.
Right. Without sounding cheesy or whatever,
Without
you
sounding
come
cheesy,
back, it's
right.
like, hey, but it's the truth.
Yeah. And anyway, so watching everybody there, and then hearing those stories about James, being able to share the same thing with what we've done with Johnny Slicks over the last 7 years, and how our own personal growth is what's created the growth in the company. Us being more disciplined, consistent, having vision, clarity around where we're going and the goal on the board, the better that we become, the better the company is.
Because as a human, you step more into who you are.
Right.
You're creating an allowance for yourself to be who you truly are.
And that discipline,
without suffering and feeling that extra weight, figuratively and literally, upon you.
And that discipline creates a route, if you will, to transfer into other things. What I mean by that is this. It's a snowball effect.
Yeah.
You become disciplined in one area of your life, you start seeing the restriction required and the other things that are required in life to improve other areas of your life.
Well, those things become easier because you're more capable.
Right.
Physically, mentally, emotionally, cognitively, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It all becomes those taskers that were, extremely hard or difficult to obtain. Yeah, they still might be hard. They still might be difficult, but they're not nearly as difficult from a planning, from an executing, from every sort of the way of the process. I mean, I've never been 350. Like let's just make that clear. I've never been 350. But I've been heavier than I am, and composition-wise, not the greatest.
Not the greatest.
Right?
Yeah.
And just by reducing that factor, yes, it didn't, like I said, didn't get away to like 350, but an extra, 20 pounds on the body, still physically capable, physically able, but just inflamed, a little bit overweight, reducing that off.
Yeah.
Just that alone right there. So some people might be like, well, I'm not 350. I don't need to do that. I beg to differ. Right?
I mean, you can be skinny and still need it.
Yes.
It's just about
that's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't have to be the
No.
exceptionally weighed person.
Yeah.
Like, you could be someone who just needs to change body comp or lose 10 to 15 to 20 pounds. And that 10 pounds could actually feel like 70 pounds. And when you unleash it and get rid of it, then you start walking around with a little bit of a pep in your step, like your smile gets bigger.
And then I start thinking about the powers that be in society, where this system is perpetuating and promoting the opposite. It's promoting chase happiness, be comfortable, utilize coping mechanisms, for instance, tobacco, alcohol, drugs, gambling, pornography, whatever it is that make you distracted. And I mean, hell, just social media in general, right? Just being sucked into finger fucking your iPhone. That is what's being pushed. That's what, and I always like go back to, and we both do. We always go back to Napoleon Hill's book, Outwitting the Devil, right? Yep. As a form, all of these things are a form of control. And I think that's what kind of goes back to is like once you start doing the physical side, you start realizing how all these other things are really trying to keep you distracted and keep you from living your best purpose.
Yeah.
Or your best self.
And some people rebuttal that with, okay, well, who is it? And what are they trying to control? And why would, and some of those like very like top level questions. At the end of the day, honestly, I don't know. Mm-hmm. I don't know what the names are of the people that sit at the table.
That's what Larry and I were talking about. Like who the fuck is they?
Who's they?
Who is they, and where are they?
The infamous they, and what are they doing?
Yeah.
Okay.
But there's a they.
Like there is a they. I don't know who that they are, but at the end of the day, we can all like for sure understand that it is happening, and that is what the they are doing.
Yeah.
It's taking us away from what we're meant to be, what we should be.
Yeah, if you strip away society, everybody gets real disciplined, real serious, real fast.
Because there's no other way.
Yeah.
You have to.
That's called survival.
And when people ask, I'm like, my life is actually comfortable too. Different kind of comfort.
Yeah.
But it's the things that I've chosen to do.
Well, you're not adding.
Work on.
You're not. And what this is.
So then, therefore, my frame of reference is that it's comfortable. Although it's uncomfortable to do all of maybe stuff that you do. But it's comfortable and it's fun because you're the one dictating that is what you're going to do. That's what you want to do.
This is what's so fucking crazy, man, is what you just said. Like the fact that all these vices and this comfort and chase happiness, all those people that do that are all extremely anxious and depressed and unhappy.
Chasing their own tail or someone else's.
Like it is a hard pill to swallow. To go, wait a minute. So you're just looking for happiness. Have you found it?
No, but I'm going to keep looking under every other rock.
Yeah. So how's that working for you? And it really is crazy. It's like it is really an awakening when you kind of come to the other side, right? Because, and I've done it. I've 100% chased happiness. I've 100% done all the things to make myself feel good.
Well, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to do that. And I give myself all the excuses. I did that in the military. I don't need to do that anymore. I've earned my right to do X, Y, and Z, right? And then at the end of the day, those decisions didn't make me happier, didn't make my life more fulfilling. I hated my life. I hated myself.
But what you're doing now is you're still, this could be a rounded about conversation, but like you're still chasing happiness, but you're chasing it with an objective,
through purpose,
yes. With a disciplined approach,
yeah,
and through measures and things that you build. Right, so you're still achieving happiness, but you actually have an objective and a goal and phase lines and things that you can do to get there. These people don't really know maybe what they want.
Yeah,
They don't, for sure don't know how to get there because they haven't taken the time to sit down to say, what would it take?
Yeah, here's the great analogy.
How do I plan to get there?
Yeah, here's a great analogy that I use is the whole vice thing and chasing happiness, tobacco, alcohol, whatever your thing is, that just has you hooked. It's got control of you, right? Whatever that thing is that makes you feel good, it is a black hole. You can do it, for instance. Why is an alcoholic ever satiated?
It's not.
Never. It makes him feel good while he's drinking, right?
Day in, day out.
Day in, day out, but it's a black hole that never gets fulfilled. Like, you're never going to be satiated from that thing, whatever that thing is for you. No. It's a black hole. It's a black pit that just never ends. On the flip side of that, when you are doing the things that benefit you physically, mentally, spiritually, that becomes more fulfilling. It actually brings you joy. So it's like this catch-22. I do the things that my brain's telling me to do that makes me feel good, actually makes me anxious, depressed, and hate myself. And I can never get enough of it, right? There's never enough drink to satiate it, never enough drugs, never enough women, never enough gambling. It's always more and more and more and more. But when you are built by discipline, that's where I think that you start to become at peace with things. And you start to awaken and start seeing things in a different light, right? You start seeing them for the facade that they are, the lies that they are.
Yeah, the further you can get away, the longer you can get away from said vice or said thing, the more you have clarity to realize that thing was definitely not a good thing for you.
It's hard.
Nor anybody else. Nor do you really want to be around people like that anymore.
I heard somebody say it was really, really, really smart. I didn't come up with this, but I like it. It's easy to talk about booze, so I'm gonna use booze as an analogy. So you're maybe you're an alcoholic, maybe you've just been drinking a lot. I don't know, whatever it is. You drink a lot. Day one away from that. So think about the drinking is a planet. You're a human being.
Okay.
Day one is like jumping off the earth. What's going to happen? Gravity's strong. It's going to pull you right back down, right? Yeah. Okay, but day two, I can jump 3 times as much. And then I quadruple as much. Over a period of time, day one is really fucking hard because of the gravitational pull. Yeah. Day 15, hard. But now you're like right on the cusp of the atmosphere.
You begin to gain like momentum and a track record too to say, I can do it. I have done it.
I have done
it. I mean, you can keep saying that, but you can also look
back
and say,
there's still a little bit of a gravitational pull.
Done it.
Yeah.
I have done it this far.
But the farther you get away time-wise
yeah.
from the negative thing, the less the gravitational pull is to it. That's why they say habits are made, 28 days, 30 days, 38, something like that. Any habit can be broken or created within 30 days. And the reason for that is that gravitational pull. It's like fucking day one of quitting smoking. You're freaking out.
You change the relationship dynamic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Day 30, different story. But you've created distance between you and that gravitational pull. So it's less. You know it's there, but it doesn't have that grip on you.
You begin to have the one with control.
Yeah.
I mean, you always had control, but you understand now that
you're making choices.
Have control.
Yeah, absolutely.
You look at yourself in the mirror, look at yourself itself and say, I do have control. I have done it. I have made victories. I can do this. I can achieve this, and I'm going to keep going forward.
Yeah, and then the analogy of the whole purpose thing is, I love this one. It's like, okay, I'm going to you're going to sign up for the Agogi, and you're like, why do you want to get, in shape? Why do you want to look better? Oh, I just want to look good naked. Okay. Cool, bro. All right, 4 a.m., it's 15 degrees out in your garage, and I need you to wake up and go do 100 burpees for time so that you can look good naked.
For some people, very, very small.
Very, very small. I mean, how does that sound for you, Brandon? You doing?
Sounds like a great time.
4 a.m. burpees in 50-degree weather? Is that going to get you out of bed? Probably not. The purpose isn't deep enough. Like, you got to have a really strong why on why you're going to become better.
And I think most people know. So there's a lot of people who might say, well, I don't know what my purpose is.
Sure.
I don't know how to find it. How do I find it? What could my purpose be? What should my purpose be? I don't have the answer. Like, everyone's purpose is going to be different, right? And dependent on who they are and what they want and desire out of life. But for the most people that come in to the Agogi, it falls within a couple different categories.
Yeah.
It usually does. And most people, I think, when it's like any other exercise, right? Like, think about it and come up with it. Usually, like, the first couple things that come into mind, I don't want to say the first one, but the first couple things that come into mind, it's somewhere within there. We just don't want to admit it, because then once we admit it, we've now acknowledged that thing, elephant's in the room.
It's funny because we know it when we're on the phone.
Yeah.
And it's like we're waiting for them to say it.
Yeah.
We're waiting for them to say it. And it's almost like they don't want to say it because
it hits hard.
Because then they have to own it.
Because that purpose is usually something that they extremely love and care about or care for.
And that purpose is?
Well, for me?
For them, you.
Oh, family.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, to me, that's it. And there's many ways that I can explain it. I can go down that. But at the end of the day, that is what it is.
Yeah, these guys call it, like, at the end of the day, when you strip all the bullshit away, it's like, dude, I want to be a role model parent and husband.
Yeah, you come home from work, say you work somewhere else. You come home from work, you come home to your family. Do you want a shitty home life or do you want a good home life?
Right.
Most people would like it to be a good home life. And if it's already good, you want it to be better? Fuck yes. If it's bad, do you like it this way?
Good doesn't mean easy, though.
No. If it's bad, do you like it that way?
Right.
Well, no, because they can have 100 complaints about like this, that, and the other. It's like, okay, well, are we doing something about it? Are we actively putting measures in place to rectify that, to change that outcome, to change that dynamic?
You know,
yes or no?
It's funny. What you just said right there was Allie and I. We talked about that, and then Kirk kind of brought it up. He highlighted the thing that years ago when I changed and I was heading in this different direction, Allie straight up said at Agogi Live, she threw me right under the bus.
I was there.
She basically did not see me as like a man. It was like, obviously I was a man because I had kids and I'd done what I had done, but she didn't.
Adolescent, did she say, or boy, or adolescent, or something like that?
It was like adult adolescence.
Yeah.
Because I was just like partying and doing whatever I wanted to do and like not disciplined, not consistent. You know, I was chasing the feel-good thing. But, so was she. But, again, things weren't changing. Things weren't improving because I was not. And it was when I made the decision that this is not what I wanted for my life, and I was going to kind of roll back the clock a little bit and apply the things that the tenets, the traits, the core values that you and I had to get to where we were in special operations. I was like, wait a minute, I do have what it takes. I do have these like tools in my tool belt to become the best.
You're just choosing not to do it.
Because I already done it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I was chosen not to do it because of whatever inflated ego, pride thing that I've done it. I don't need to prove myself anymore, whatever. But it was when I made that decision, and what she said was, it was the first time that I was acting like a man. And that person she wanted to follow. That person she wanted to be with.
The beauty is that she saw the track record or something within you that she knew that it was there.
The capability was there. Yeah.
The capacity, the capability was there. You've done it in the past. Just for some reason, you're not doing it now.
But how many relationships are in that situation right there where the man is being an adult adolescent? He's not being a man of his word. He's not keeping his promises. He's not being disciplined. He's not setting the example of accountability to himself. Yeah. Right? To where the women and the kids are just like, damn, I love this guy, but I wish that he would just show up.
Many.
Like, I think that's majority of them.
Many. Yeah. I've had this conversation with a couple clients in the past. I was watching the Hulk with the kids. Don't ask me which one. One of them. I don't know. I think it was the Norton one.
Yeah.
You know? You can probably correct me if it's just definitely wrong. It was one of the Hulks, right? And I had just had a conversation with a client, and I was thinking of ways to formulate it. I ended up watching the Hulk like an hour afterwards. I ended up stopping the movie, and I was like, girls, hold on. I have to go send this message real quick because it resonated with me, okay? Bear with me, right? So a man or a person has a track record of performing certain behaviors. Like, and they're not well received by the wife. So for you, it was just the example you were a man, you're a capable man, but just not displaying it, right? So you're acting like an adolescent boy or, an adolescent person. And then all of a sudden, you want to make this change. So for the Hulk, when I was watching it, right, he wanted to change for the chick. I remember her name. But he wanted to change for that girl. But he always went through like the Hulk smash. And then at some point in time in the movie, there was like a timer that either came on the screen or came up somewhere. And it was like X amount of days since Hulk's outburst or something.
Yeah.
Right? So things are going good and you're gaining like new ground, right? So this is relationship dynamic between him and his wife.
Yeah.
And he had been acting a little bit more accord to where he wanted and how she really wanted him to be. And then he had a flare up.
Yeah.
Right? He lost his shit.
Yeah.
Didn't hit her, didn't beat
her.
Day
zero.
Let's make that clear.
Yeah.
Right? But it went back to day zero. So what did that do? It reconfirmed in her that he was not a changed man. And I said, well, dude, you're back to day zero. But you can still do it. You're capable of it. You just now need to reprove it, 1, to yourself, 2, to her and your family. So all the work that you just put in, man, it's not for nothing, but you're back at day zero. Like you lost control of your emotions. You lost control of the person you're trying to become. So you now have to reset that groundwork and continue becoming that.
I've got a question for you.
Oh, boy.
I agree with you. I totally agree with you. But there's a caveat here. It's not a caveat. It's a question.
Okay.
We are all imperfect.
Yeah.
We all make mistakes. What is the balance in your, and from your point of view, what is the balance in your head from going, I made a mistake. I had this outburst. Okay. I did good for, say, 3 months.
Yep.
And then I backslid. I drifted. Napoleon Hill calls it drifting.
Yep.
Back to the old version of myself. It's one of two things could happen. It's very easy for like you to do like, self-mutilation, basically, like whip yourself and be like, I can't believe you did that. You're going to pay for it. You're going to do 25s and 5s until you throw up until you can remember not to make this mistake. Or the opposite of that is where it's like, well, I'm imperfect. I make mistakes and I move on. In my opinion, both are bad. Like the punishing yourself, not a great, not giving. One of the courses, I think it's like course 12 in my limiting beliefs course. And if you message me on Instagram, belief, I'll give you the course. Everybody should do the limiting beliefs course. But one of the lessons is I do not give myself the same love and compassion and grace that I give to others.
I see that all the time.
Right?
Yep.
Much harder on myself. Like Charlie Burns, much harder on herself than she is to everyone else around her. Right? But at the same time, I feel like that can also be a slippery slope. It's like, well, I'm imperfect, so it justifies my mistakes or my actions based off of being imperfect. So like there are extremes to both sides of this thing. So, anyways, my thought is, you say like I'm back to day zero. Yes, you are, but how do you balance the imperfect nature of being a human being? Like we are all. I like how Kirk's wife, Rebecca, says we're not human beings, we're human becomings. You know what I mean? Because we're constantly evolving, constantly growing, or you should be constantly evolving and growing. So anyways, what's the difference between those two? And how do you stay in the healthy zone of that, in your opinion?
First, I think you have to either acknowledge or be aware that it happened.
Yeah.
All right, so if this was me.
Own it.
Yeah, if this was.
Own it.
Ownership being the second part.
Okay.
Right? So like acknowledgement or awareness that it happened. I need to acknowledge or be aware that it was an undesirable behavior that I portrayed or I performed.
Yeah.
Right? So I need to recognize. I need to see it. mean, if someone else tells me, that's good too, because then I can sit and I can think about it, maybe go back on it. But if I can be aware of it, then I can take ownership and I can sit with myself and say, okay, you give a little bit of human grace. My perspective again, right? Yeah. I'm not going to whip myself that this is not me.
Yeah. You're not beating yourself up over it.
No. But I'm going to give myself some human grace and say, yeah, dude, I am human. Like, we all are going to screw up at some point in time, probably, unfortunately, for the rest of our life.
But
we're going to perform behaviors.
But you're owning the screw up.
Yeah. Okay. I need to own it.
Yeah.
And if it was either against, towards, or around or with other people, I need to sack up as a man and talk to those other people. And hopefully, I don't have to give a dissertation about how I've changed, man, this, that, because then you're just trying to...
Here's my 150-page thesis of why I am the way I am.
You're trying to overly sell something, but having a conversation with that person, and then you're owning up to it. Now, if it was just with yourself, then you'd own up to it with yourself, but if it was with another person, kind of go to that other person and be like, hey, man, like, I saw myself do this. I've been on a pathway of doing good. I've put measures in place. I know I blew up. I said this. I did that. Dude, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Or I apologize. Or whatever the rectifying measure may be, right? Yeah. Something like that. Now, however you take it,
that's on them.
That's on you, man.
That's on them, yeah.
But me, as the person who performed whatever actions, I think that person should confront the other person and state that.
Yeah.
Again, whatever that person gives back at you or receives, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a nugget of good things. Maybe it's all just shit. Anyways, so, and then I need to try to come back to myself and be like, okay, I was on a path of success. How did I get to the moment before I blew up or the day before I blew up? Like, what was I doing that yielded success in order for me to be able to change my behavior and my actions or whatever it is that we're trying to change? What did I do? Well, obviously, for that period of time, it was going well. I had a flare-up. I had something. All right. Was there something that triggered it? Like, was there something that sparked it? Did I feel it coming up? And then for me, kind of just sit down and journal and say, okay, well, I've done really good or I've done really well by doing X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Cool. Is there something else I can put in there that like could further assist and aid me towards, my continued success to change this behavior? Yes or no? Maybe I'll add something. And then if I can figure out what the hell made me flare up, was it an emotional reaction to what someone said? Was it an action that someone performed or did to me? And then I can try to write down I hate the word triggers sometimes, but write down that trigger so then I can be aware of it and say, okay, hey, in the future, if I see this coming or if I feel this coming or if I'm in this situation, what can I do to down-regulate myself so I don't do that and I don't have this hiccup? And then guess what? If you can be aware of that before that outrage or that outburst or whatever it may be happens the next time, and you can get past it with a victory, fuck, man.
It's
That's
funny.
beautiful.
It's funny you say that about the whole trigger thing and whatnot. Real quick, I want to bring up the whole heart physics thing. We talked about this at Agogi Live as well. How many times people react to a situation or an event based off a prior situation or event or person that's no longer in their life. It's in the past.
Yep.
It could be a former relationship. So your wife or girlfriend said something to you or did something, and it caused you to, whether you realize it or not, subconsciously, it caused you to kind of tap into a cellular memory of a prior event. And you're reacting to the current event as if it was the past event.
Yeah, and you brought up a good point. A lot of times it's subconscious.
Right. So this is where, it's funny, it's how we're all coming around circle. This is where our coaching portion of, I guess, the mindset coaching portion of the Agogi came to be, because we were seeing these guys kill it and then self-sabotage.
Something
whatever
that happens or takes place.
And we're like, what the hell, dude?
It all goes to shit.
Like, what is going on? Like, oh, well, blah, 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 and excuses. And it's because they never dealt with the thing from the past to where they constantly. So if you are the person who is on the roller coaster, you do really well for a while, and then you backslide, you drift. or if you're the person who, you know, gains 30 pounds or loses 30 pounds, gains 30 pounds. Like you're constantly yin-yanging back and forth in life, whatever it be. Maybe it's business, maybe it's relationship, maybe it's your health, weight. It doesn't matter what it is. Typically what we've found is it is straight up something from the past that you go down the road for a little while, and it's like freaking textbook clockwork, whatever you want to say, like self-sabotage mode, and then you're right back, and then you're back to day zero all over again. And it's because you haven't dealt with the shit, the cellular memory, the heart physics of the past.
But it's hard to deal with that shit.
Yeah. I'd rather, honestly, dude, it's easier to just diet and work out hard. That's the hard work.
It is. But that hard work is always going to flare up, or has a very high potential
until you
to
put it,
arise and
until
flare
you
up
deal with it.
From today, whatever
Yeah.
today is, until the end of your life.
Yeah.
If you do not action against it.
Oh.
If you do not action against it,
Yeah.
right, to either face it and fix it on whatever level that may be, that's going to maybe be a singular approach. Or maybe it'll take many a times, but for you to go down and identify it and figure it out and then build a pathway to try and help that's going to be one process.
Dude, if
rather
that's,
than
but yeah, but
60 flare-ups.
yeah, but if that's the
life.
fucking thing, man, like why not address it? Because it's uncomfortable. Because what happens if that's the one thing holding you back from everything, from achieving everything in your life? You're like, that ugly, nasty, embarrassing thing that's in my life, I don't want to deal with it. And it constantly is fucking up my progress. And you're just going to fucking bury it and not deal with it. Like, dude, to me, in my mind, the where I sit now, granted, I'm on the other side of things, right?
Yes.
But like, if I find that thing, bro, it's target central. It's like fire for effect. Every gun I have, every effort I have, all of my energy is to kill that fucking thing right there, because that's the one little motherfucker that's keeping me from progress in my life.
Most people don't do that.
Right.
They kick the can down the road,
Right.
and every 6 months, 3 months, a year,
It rears its head.
it flares up.
It flares up.
So
yeah.
from my age now until, I don't know, 250 when I die, let's just play that game now. If I can't turn back the clock, I might as well extend out my future, right? But, you know.
Etiation stem cells.
It's going to have X amount of times it's going to flare up. And you
Right.
can't say, oh, maybe not, or it won't. How many other times in the past has it flared up?
Right.
Or have you gone through that? Well, I don't know. Multiply that out to the rest of your years. I don't want to deal with that, man. It's like kicking the can down the road.
Yeah.
I'd rather just attack it. And it's going to be hard. But I can't think of anybody off the top of my head that has done that, right? That has faced whatever challenge or thing is holding them back from the past, or creates a flare up, or creates a trigger, right? That has actually attacked it. Right? I don't want to use attack in an aggressive nature, like, finding that person and hunting them down. I'm not saying that, but attack it with the efforts to rectify it, so it does not do that to you in a negative manner anymore. The people that are on the backside of it, just as you stated, I don't know many that are like, damn, wish I would have never done that. Like, it always ends up being this beautiful conversation and this enlightening point to where you're like, hey, I did it. And then like shackles are released. I felt better. I felt lighter, and I was able to progress and move forward in every aspect of my life. And guess what? Either A, it hasn't come back up, or B, if it has come back up, you're not that worried about it anymore.
Yeah.
It doesn't affect you in that same gravity that it had before.
Put a bullet in its head. Right.
Yeah.
Put a bullet in its fucking head and be done with it.
And then if it pops up, because that's life, or something comes up
look
that
at
makes
it.
you remind or think about it, you'd be like, you know what you can think back on now?
Yeah.
Instead of having that triggered memory of like, holy shit, and panic and frustration, you can now look back and say, I've overcome that.
It doesn't own me.
At one point in time,
Yeah.
I would have done X, Y, and Z, but
Yeah.
guess what? I'm not. I'm smiling and I'm laughing right now because I can move forward. I got the power, and I believe in myself. I can move forward.
It doesn't control me anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, dude, if you're out there and you're listening to this, for the 6 listeners that I have, I think we're at 7 now, right? 7.
12 next
7,
week.
12 next week. I'm kidding. I appreciate all you guys coming up to me in the airport, and everybody, and all your guys' comments. You guys are the reason why we keep making this, the reason why I wear this necklace, because I don't forget of the impact that you can make in someone's life just by being you and doing the things that you're doing. Most people don't even know. So take this episode, somebody who is not disciplined, who's not driven by purpose, who's struggling, that has gone the roller coaster of life, and they're constantly self-sabotaging, share this video with them. Share this podcast with them. All right, go follow my man, Josh Honsberger. And if you are one of the men that are listening to this and going, damn, I need this in my life. Well, dude, what are you waiting for? In the show notes is a link, like as every video that I do and every podcast that I do, to join the Agogi and come in here and break bread with us, even online and in person. You know, come get a workout in at the Agogi here in North Carolina. Join the community, get some freaking coaching. You know, whatever it is that you need, let's figure that out. And no man should be an island to himself. Let's build a foundation of discipline, and let's figure out what your purpose is, so that you have a very strong why, and that no matter what, you become successful in your life. Yeah.
That's all.
Never quit, never surrender. We always keep moving forward. Peace.